Good Thursday afternoon, everyone. It is May 4th. May the 4th be with you, of course, for those Star Wars fans out there. So, we have a couple things to talk about. We have severe weather to talk about, and it's going to get hot and humid by this weekend as well. And going into next week, we're going to have a trough out west, going to eject impulses out every so often, and we're going to have some thunderstorm chances off and on across most of the area, and we'll get into that here shortly. So, severe weather today, we have a slight risk down here towards Texas and far southern Oklahoma. Some of the major cities here, we're talking San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, Arlington, Texas, over to Abilene as well. We're in a slight risk as well. Marginal risk on the other side of that, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, Laredo, Texas, right around Houston, Texas as well, up towards North McCook, Nebraska, Colby, Kansas, Garden City. So some of those towns there, and over towards eastern parts of Colorado as well, and then up here in the mountains of Idaho, eastern Washington, northeastern parts of Oregon as well. All right, so we have a 5% tornado risk probability. Basically, here's a few towns: Wichita Falls and over towards Vernon, Texas. Just a small little risk area of tornadoes, but it is not zero out there as well. Basically, just along the Red River here across southern Oklahoma into northern parts of Texas. Wind risk, 5% chance of wind here. But I think the bigger story is going to be hail today, in excess of 2 inches diameter, probably up to baseball size as well, across parts of southern Oklahoma, northern Texas, and then across southern parts of Texas as well, including Austin, San Antonio, down towards the river valley here, bordering Mexico and Texas. All right, and here is tomorrow's risk for Friday. Slight risk for Fort Worth, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Texas, Waco, some of the towns there, and then slight risk, marginal risk on the other side of that: San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, up to Plano, Texas. We have a marginal risk out here just on the south side of Memphis, far southern parts of Tennessee, through most of Mississippi, and western parts of Alabama as well. So, severe thunderstorms will be possible across parts of central Texas Friday afternoon and evening, like I said, with large hail, some very large as well. Damaging winds of 60, 70 plus miles per hour is expected. Some isolated tornadoes as well. There is some isolated strong storms that will be possible across portions of the Tennessee Valley to the central Gulf Coast, and of course across parts of Nebraska as well. All right, as we go into Saturday, you can see there is a huge area of just general thunderstorm risk for most of the center of the country here, as heat and humidity is building across most of the center of the country here. We have a marginal risk of severe weather. San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, up towards Kansas City, Missouri, over to Springfield, Illinois, up towards Des Moines, Iowa, Burlington, Iowa, and just right around Iowa City as well. All right, here's what's happening across the United States as of today. We have red flag warnings out here towards New Mexico, southeastern parts of Colorado. We have a flood watch down here through central Oklahoma. We have frost advisories, looks like, from Pennsylvania all the way down through parts of northwestern parts of Virginia and eastern West Virginia as well. And we have a lot of flood and hydrological products out here towards the west, as snow melt is starting to ramp up across the west. And then we have winter weather advisories down here just in the hills of north and east of LA, basically, across the grapevine here. So as a trough is coming in across the west. All right, let's take a look at the upper level pattern here. You can see a big trough coming into the west here. And like I said, the impulse is coming out today. Going to deliver some heavy rain and severe weather, of course, across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. And then beneficial rains coming for Missouri into Arkansas as well. So we have a trough out east, a lot of northwest flow. This is as of today. So not a lot of northwest flow coming down across the eastern part of the country. We have a lot of blocking up here towards Canada, and then, like I said, another trough come in across the west. So you can see what's going to happen over the next few days. A big high pressure is basically building across the central part of the area of the United States here, trough along just off the coast here, off the east coast of the United States, and then a big trough coming in across the west. So every so often, this trough is going to eject some waves of energy out, and it's going to come in contact with this very warm and humid air mass. The Gulf's going to be wide open for business. So it's going to get very humid and hot across the area. And let me show you how hot it could get. All right, so here is possible highs on Saturday. Very hot. Looks even southern parts of Texas looking upper 90s to around 100 degrees. Mid 90s all the way through central part of Texas here. 90s up into parts of Oklahoma, southern parts of Kansas. And you get over towards Little Rock as well. You could be hitting the 90-degree mark on Saturday. And this is going to come with very high humidity. In 80s, even mid 80s at that, up here towards northern Missouri as well, parts of central Kansas. And then, like I said, there's still got some troughiness out east, so it's a little bit cooler out that way. All right, so like I said, this is air temperatures, and let's factor in some humidity here. And you got mid 90s to around 100 across parts of Texas as well. 90s. This is heat index, people. So this is on top of what the heat will already be. So very humid across the area. And here's the dew points, of course. We got mid 70s down here across Louisiana. And it's just running up the Mississippi River Valley here. 72 for a dew point. This is very, very rich moisture coming up. Like I said, it's going to get very humid across the area. Most everybody else mid to upper 60s for dew points, and like I said, up here towards Dallas, right around 70-degree dew points. So this is going to be some impressive humidity coming into the region here. All right, here is 3 o'clock today. This is future radar. You can see some storms trying to develop out here towards Oklahoma and into parts of Texas too. General rain and some heavier rain at that coming into parts of northwest Arkansas, southwestern parts of Missouri. Then we get into about 5 o'clock where everybody's trying to get off work. Very heavy rain across northwest Arkansas, rain across northern parts of Arkansas as well, southwest Missouri, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Storms starting to develop out here in parts of Texas, right along that Red River. That's where there's going to be a basically conditional tornado threat today, and with some very large hail, of course, as well. Some high mountain snow showers out here towards Colorado, parts of Wyoming as well. Some thunderstorms trying to develop out here towards eastern Colorado and parts of western Kansas. Now, as we go in through the evening hours and overnight, see these storms are really just basically hugging the Red River, some of these storms here. So that's where the biggest threat will be. There'll be some isolated severe storms down here across southern parts of Texas, central and southern parts of Texas. But anything that basically blows up, it's going to have some big hail threats for the region there. Okay. All right. So as we go into overnight, basically, we're going to get some very heavy rain across northern Arkansas into parts of northeastern Oklahoma, western parts of Arkansas as well, and eastern Oklahoma. And this thing basically looks like a little squall line trying to develop down here across southern Arkansas, trying to push east as we go towards 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday. And rain continues to ongoing across northern half of Arkansas through Little Rock. Again, around 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Got some storms kind of dying down across Mississippi, general rain across Tennessee. And then these storms start getting going again in Kansas starting tomorrow evening late around Dallas even. So some big hailers probably likely there as well. And then as we get towards Saturday, you see some general hit and miss thunderstorms here and there across some of those marginal risk areas as I showed you earlier. So you can see this is Sunday highs. You can see a lot of 80s, 70s and 80s, 90s across most of the southern half of the United States here. And then like I said, that big trough that's coming into the west, a lot of cold weather out there. And like I said, there's going to be some impulses come out every so often. So we're going to have to watch when that happens because that'll with all this heat and humidity around, with these impulses coming out, we're going to have probably some severe storms to deal with as well. So a lot of thunderstorm chances, hit or miss thunderstorm chances probably over the next 10 days across most of the area here with this heat and humidity really building into the area. So I've been talking about this in the supporter hub over on Facebook for a couple weeks now that we've been colder than average, and then as this trough starts ejecting out to the east, it's going to warm up very fast, and it was probably going to pop 10 to 20 degree above average temperatures across most of the area, and this is just a precursor of what's coming. This is basically the appetizer what's coming for this next week. All right. All right, so there's your Thursday weather update. Like I said, severe weather ongoing today with that conditional tornado threat around the Red River across Oklahoma, far southern Oklahoma and northern Texas. Some severe weather tomorrow and on Sunday or Saturday as well, with some hit or miss thunderstorms here and there with all this, like I said, heat and humidity coming into the area. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this cool down for the last 10 or so days because man, May's going to get very hot. It's going to get very hot across parts of the United States this weekend, and then continuing through next week as the Gulf is going to be wide open and a lot of moisture is going to be pumped into the region. So it's going to be the heat. You're going to start talking about heat indexes out there. Basically the real feel. So it could be 90 degrees outside, but the real feel could be 97 to 100 degrees outside as well. So stay hydrated. It's that time of year. If you go outside, sunscreen, make sure you stay hydrated, water, Gatorade, whatever. We don't need to hate to be talking about heat strokes or heat related illnesses, but you have to start thinking about that if you're going to be working or doing some things outside, because this is going to be a big refresher of what time a year it is. Like I said, we've been up and down a lot over the past 6 months. But like I said, as this trough moved out, and it's going to pop 10 to 20 degree above average temperatures, and it looks like that's going to continue for a little while, okay? All right, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and stay weather aware and have a way to get warnings.